Astromancer Alena is back, and this time the focus unit is Rinak. We do have a very interesting thing happening with Rinak, where this isn't going to be top 100, this is just going to be for top 5%. It's just, since this is super early on in the rotation, this is rank 3 for now, but this isn't going to make it to top 100 by the end of the rotation. As usual, there's probably going to be an unequip next week on the second week of the Hall of Trials rotation, so do wait until that unequip comes before you do any regearing, so that you can save yourself a lot of gold. We are basically running a Rinak solo. These other units are just here for imprints. I do use Watcher Shuri with actual gear just to do a little min-maxing thing for damage, but not necessary. You can see here we get 32 speed from them, but you could just make this up in the gear and drop her damage a bit. So let's take a look at Rinak's gear first, I suppose. Rinak, the important thing is you need Lifesteal Set. Lifesteal Set is what allows you to solo here, because you can actually sustain up. For her speed, you want her not too fast. I tried 238. 238 plus 32 from the speed imprint. So effectively 270 was fast enough for me. Of course, depending on what your speed imprints are, maybe you... Well, I would say a lot of people probably don't have Vildred SSS. Maybe you have to use Westwind Shuri, but it's -2. Some people might be using a 3-star, so it's -4. In which case, just be faster on your gear. But this is the Rinak that I will be using. The important thing is just lifesteal, the rest doesn't matter. Torrent is just min-maxing damage. And you probably want a little bit of bulk. Just don't be base bulk, like you can see, well you can just see here. There's not that much HP here, plus I'm missing some from Torrent. It's just enough to not get one-shot in Phase 3. And then any spare stats you have after speed can be attack if you want, with Cruel Mischief as our artifact of choice. And like I mentioned here, there's a ton of units that you can use. There is... let's see. So for all the units that are speed imprints, you have to keep in mind that we can't use fire heroes here because of the team bonus. Here, it says 0 fire heroes in the team. So that means we can't use Surin, and we can't use Shuri, or Veronica. Our speed imprint also has to hit the back slot, which means that Wanderer Silk is out. That means our options are Vildred, Sid, Watcher Shuri, and Westwind Executioner Shuri. There's also Helga, Bukacha, Ruzid, Jekt, Camilla, Mirsa, Celeste, or Gloomy Rain. Which obviously, higher star rarity means that they will have a higher speed imprint and it's slightly better. And then also, I should mention real quick, this isn't necessary, but this is just my normal Watcher Shuri. I left him geared, just because I wanted to get one extra hit in at the very start of the first phase for a tuning thing for min-maxing damage. But again, it's just min-maxing damage. It doesn't really matter that much if you're chasing a top 5%. Just easy clear. But anyways, that is enough for the stats, and I can take a look at the run. So starting off the fight, you want to S1 at the start because it'll give her an extra turn since she has a debuff. Then you use S3, and then at this point we can kind of just turn on auto. I do turn off Watcher Shuri's skills because I don't actually want him to get a second turn. So if he uses S3, he'll get the skill nullifier. I could just remove the EE actually, which maybe I'll do that, but it's like not that much extra damage. You want all of your speed imprints to die there. And now you can auto until Rinak, or until Alena uses her S2, and we enter the pre-break mechanics. The only thing is, you do want to press S3 before you turn on the auto, because you want to S3, S2, then S1, because when you S3, it'll also remove any debuff, or any buffs you have. And you want attack buff onto your S1, which isn't too much damage in the main phase, but that's actually pretty sizable, 247. This is a bit more important once you enter the break phase. But anyways, here, since we don't have any debuffs on us, we're still just going to 3, 2, 1. Use 2 now. Now we use 1. And again, we cut everything, so we're just gonna 3, 2, 1. So here is where it gets interesting. When you have block on you, you want to S1 first, and then you want to S3. You S1 to reduce 1 turn of the block. If you don't do that, she's not going to be able to actually cleanse the stun and get an extra turn. And ideally, you want to S3, then S2 to enter the break phase. So 10% you want to S3, 5% S2 is the ideal entry. It doesn't really matter that much if you can't do it, because it doesn't seem like this is actually going to be the top 100 team anyways. But then in the break phase, after you press S3, you can kind of just manual, or auto as well. At least up until she's about to exit the break phase, because there's one more thing we're going to do there. Okay, so here, on this final hit, with the way extra turn mechanics work now, Rinok's extra turn actually procs first, and we are just going to S1. This gives us 1 free hit in, basically. So she needs 1 less hit to finish her bar now. And now again, we can S1, S3, and turn auto back on. Again, that's Alena S2. We're just going to 3, 2, 1 since we have no debuffs. But the ads are moving soon, so we should be debuffed on our next hit. Now we're debuffed, so we'll S1 first. Then we S3, S2, S1. And actually, it turns out that that extra hit we got at the very start is a bit unnecessary. I still do want to enter with 3-2 just for min-maxing damage. So I'm going to hit this guy here first, just so we don't reduce her bar, and then we're going to 3 and then 2. Now we S2 and enter the break phase again. So here, again, you just turn on auto, it's fine. In S3, we're going to turn off auto, press S1 real quick. Now we press S1, S3 first, and then we turn auto back on. the S2 is up, and we are immediately going to be blocked. So let us S1, then S3. Here, we're safe to just S3 first again, because the ad didn't cut us. And it looks like we're again in the situation where we actually don't need to hit Alena here, so we're going to hit this guy first. And now we're going to hit Alena. And it's back to auto after we use S3. And as usual, we can squeeze one last hit in here, which we're just going to S1 real quick. And that's the fight. So that is the Rinak solo team. Like I mentioned, this doesn't seem like it's going to be the best in slot team. So it's kind of just a fun thing to run if you just want a very, very easy top 5%. Don't think it'll make it to the top 100 by the end of this rotation with the way that it's going so far. But that is it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.